Today we're focusing on finding this lovely balance through the whole body using a block and a light to medium resistance band. And it's about a beginner intermediate session, so there will be options for you to choose from. Let's get started with our warm-up in a seated position, taking the band all the way up to about mid-thigh. And then you're going to place your block just underneath the knees. We're going to need it there for a moment. But for now, sitting up tall, heels together, pressing your knees slightly wide so that we're finding this length and lift through the spine. Reach the arms forward, taking a deep breath in, and then rolling it all the way down to the mat if you can, or halfway if you prefer. Rolling it up. Good. We're just going to start here. We want to feel that press of the heels down to the ground and lightly pressing out into the band, finding that balance between core, front, and back. You may even notice by pressing your legs out to the side a little bit, hip flexors release, and you're getting a little more core warm up here. You can also think of pulling your heels towards you as you roll up to support that lift. Let's go one more. We're going to stay at the top. Finding length through your head first, then a C shape in the lower back. Find the spot that you can hold, then rotate towards me, reach to the wall behind you. Return to center and then other side. Inhale to twist. We want to feel that we're pressing heels into the ground, knees out to the side. Feel that you're pulling your core in and lengthening through the back of your body. One more. Bring it back through center and gently curl it down. All right, we're going to place our feet on the side of the block. So your block is lengthways. Your feet are on the short ends or the short sides of the block, and you're lightly pressing out onto your band. We're going to take it into our bridge. You're going to curl the hips up and down, pausing at the top for an inhale and release. Good, finding just that little bit of activation through the back of the body and a stretch through the front. And two more, lightly pressing out onto that band. And one. We're going to bring it all the way down and place our feet at the top of the block. Bringing heels to the top of the block, hands behind your head. We're going to do this combo of bridge and chest lift. We're going to lift the hips with a small tuck of the pelvis and then lift it up, lower it down, and then lift the chest. And down. Little tuck and lift. To find that balance between glute activation, but we also want to feel that core, so lower abs are working to lift your hips up. And one more. Keeping your chest up. Now we're going to hold this chest lift. Navel draws down to the back body. Then lift your legs off the block. Tap. And lift. We want to feel this balance across the shoulders and hips as we lift and lower the legs. Good. Lower abs are working. Pressing out into the band. Feel that side of the leg. And two. A little bit of inner thighs working as well. One. Hold it up. Stretch your arms out in front of you. Double leg stretch. You're going to stretch your legs away. Arms come up towards your shoulders.
and then bring it in and extend and in. You have the option to keep your hands behind your head for support if you need. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Good. Pressing out into that band. Lift the chest. And 2. Good. And 1. Bring it into single leg stretch. We're going to stretch one leg out. Pull your knee towards your nose and switch. Switch. We're going to feel open in the chest. Lift up the ribs. 3 more rounds. Keep your gaze in front of you. 1 more round. Knees to chest. And lower it down, placing your feet at the top of your block now. We want the toes on the block. Heels are going to be off the block. Making sure that the band is still mid-thigh. Pressing down into your hands. We're going to lift those hips up and lower them down. Lift and lower, just finding that support across the shoulders. Now we're going to begin to open the knees, lower the hips, lift and close. Open, lower, lift, close. Keeping equal pressure across the 10 toes as you open and close. Wrapping into the rib cage and the core as you lift. And 1 more. And curl it all the way down. Lovely. The foot that's closest to me, you're going to slide it slightly towards you so that you're just on the 10, on those toes, those 5 toes. The other foot is on the block. We're going to lower this heel down, finding a stretch and lift. We're just going to lift and lower this heel. Lovely work here for the ankle. And 2 more. 1, lift the heel, hold, lift your hips up all the way into bridge position. And now we're going to take this foot, we're going to lift and lower. Tabletop and tap. Finding the support in the bottom foot, the lift of that bottom glute. Good, equal pressure across both shoulders. Let's go 1 more. Hold this leg in tabletop. Lower your hips down to tap and lift. Then extend this leg. Bend, lower, lift, extend. We want to feel how we're using this core to lift those hips up and keep them stable. And using the resistance of the band for challenge. You're going to go for 1 more. Straighten through this leg and hold it straight. Lift through this hip as well because we want to find that alignment. Then we're going to open and close the straight leg. Keeping that alignment and stability. Good. Pressing down through both shoulders and arms for support. Lift the hips a little higher. 2 more. And 1. Bring that leg in. Deep breath. Lift the hips. Curl it down. Reset. Gorgeous. So now we're taking that other toes, pulling them closer towards you so we can lift and lower the heel. We're going to find that control on the way down. You're going to get this lovely crease in the ankle. And a little work in the arch as you lift the heel. 2 more. 1. Keep the lift of your heel. Lift your hips up into bridge. First, find your alignment, and then we're going to lift and lower this top leg. Tap and lift. As you tap, can you think of lifting through this bottom glute? We want to feel that activation on that side. And if you're feeling too much hamstring, I want you to drop down to your shoulders and your ribs a little more and add a bit of core activation to the movement. 2 more. And 1. Leg stays in tabletop. Lower the hip. Lift, extend the leg. Good. So we're bending that leg each time we lower the hips. And pressing shoulders into the ground as you lift your hips is really going to help support the back of your body. And 2 more. Hold it up on 1. Extend the leg. Maybe lift the hip a tiny bit higher, then open and close the straight leg. You're taking it out to the side. Bottom leg is stable. For 2. And 1. Bring that foot down. Lift your hips up and gently curl it down. Gorgeous. Hug your knees to your chest. Take a low back stretch. Just finding a bit of ease and release there. All right, you're going to take your feet onto the side of your block. Press your block all the way out. Now we're going to press those feet into the block. Lift up through the arms. And then taking it into your roll up. Rolling it forward and up. Dive over to the block. Hold for a moment. And then curl yourself away, but keep reaching to your block. Right, so we want to find that length through the back body. Exhale. Let's bring it up. You'll notice the more you press into the block, you're going to be able to zip up through the core. That's going to help you find that lift. And 1 more. Can we feel that length through the hamstrings? Good. All the way to the top. Dive over. Maybe placing hands to the block. Pull the core in. And rolling it up. Lovely. Bring your block towards you, framing the side of the block again, and hands are going to be back behind you. From here, we're going to start to lift and lower the hips, lifting the hips, knees towards the toes, into a tabletop position, and then lower your hips down. And lift. We're just finding a lovely little stretch here for the chest. You always have the option to turn your hands out to the side, so fingers point outwards. And 1 more. And all the way down. So from here, you're going to take your hands just a little bit back behind you. Small bend in the elbow. Option to always turn your hands out to the side. Now you're going to lift it up just a little. Keep pressing out into the band a tiny bit, and you're going to shift to your block, lower your hip, shift back to your hands, lower down. So we're keeping this long line from head down to hips. And we're moving toward the block and away. Good. Lots of work here for the arms. And using that core to keep that neutral hip. So we don't want to be collapsing here. We want to keep that length from the head all the way down to the hips. And 1 more. Now placing your hips down. all the way by your hands. We're going to lift and lower through the arms, tricep press. We're still thinking of pushing the feet into the block and the legs pushing slightly out. Good. Finding that lift up through the back of the arms for triceps. 3 more. 2. And 1. Bring it in, straighten through the legs. Dive forward for a stretch. And rolling it up. Lovely. We're going to come into a 4-point kneeling position, placing the block under one hand. Okay, so we still have that band mid-thigh, one hand on the mat, the other on the block. Pressing back into those 10 toes, we're going to begin to find a hover of the knees. So pressing into both hands and toes, lift your knees, hold it for a moment, lifting up through the core. Now tap, exhale, lift. Keeping hips behind your knees. The more you push back, the more you're going to feel core. Good, we're going to add on. On your hover, hold, open and close the band. Lower the knees. Lift, open, close. Good. So now we're finding that glute activation, inner thighs and core. Making sure that you're lifting up through the ribs as well to support your back body. And 1 more. Lower it down. Press your hips back and find a twist. We're going to stay here. We're going to add on a twist. Alrighty. So from here now, we're going to find a float. Well, find a hover. Then you're going to open up towards me away from the block. So you rotate away from the block. You return to center to come down. We lift, rotate, center, down. You can stick with this, or we're adding on. You shift away, you come forward, and down. We're finding the support at the feet and pressing down into this bottom arm. You want to feel strong and stable, so move at the pace that allows you to feel stability at your shoulder, very important. And 2 more. And then we're going to hold the side position on the next one. Good. We're all going to shift down. Squeeze those feet together. Lift up through the core. Press the bottom leg down to the mat. Lift it up. Good. We've got that support by your top foot. And as you press your leg down, you want to feel the lift through the waist. Press down into your bottom hand. Feel that oblique. For 2. We've got 1 more. Rotate it center, lower it down, stretch it out. Good. Enjoy that stretch. Lengthen through the arm. All the way up and over to the other side. So I'm going to spin around. You're welcome to stay towards the side you are. One hand on the block, the other now is down on the mat. We'll start with our neutral hover, knees in line with hips. Shift your hips slightly back. Lift the knees. Hold for a moment. Feel that lift of rib cage and core. Tap and lift. We want to feel that you're pressing into your toes a little bit more than you think. Shoulders behind your wrists to feel that core lifting you. Adding on, hold or hover, open and close the knees. Now you're going to feel a little bit more oblique in the waist. We want to feel that we're lifting the rib cage when we open the knees, because it's quite easy for that rib cage or core to collapse, but we want to keep lifting. And 2. Good. 1 more. Bring it all the way down, find a twist. You can rest your head on your block. Let's bring it all the way up. And now we're going to take it into that twist. So you're finding a hover, twist it around, and then return to center. Each time you lower down, there's a moment to just reset, realign. We're adding on the challenge. We go down, we come up, and lower down. Continue. Really thinking of pressing down into the hand on the block. That's going to help you find that lift and strength. It also feels more supportive for that shoulder the more you press into your hand. Good. Let's go 1 more. We hold that position. We take it down. We're finding the support in the front foot and that bottom arm. Then open and close the bottom leg. Feel that you're pushing the knee down towards the ground, but lifting the hip. So knee goes down, hip is lifting up. Good. Can we find more length from head to hip? And 2, and 1, and center, lower down. Press back to stretch. And you can bring your block in now. Finding a lovely stretch and release. Good. Let's take that band off. We're going to cool it down here on the back. We'll stretch it out. So band comes off. Grab your block, come to lie down on your back. Roll your hips up, place the block underneath your hips. And you're going to just take your feet wide and begin to rock the knees side to side. Hands are next to the side of you. Good, let's go 1 more time to each side. And then find your center. Knees come towards your chest. Finding a little rocker here. And if the corner of the block is framing your hips, it should feel like a lovely little massage. Get into a figure 4, crossing the ankle over one knee, and then pulling that leg, those legs towards your chest. You're going to feel a lovely stretch through the side of your leg. Good, switching it around, other side. So you can either hold behind your knee or hold your foot and your knee of the side that you're stretching. Maybe a little side to side rocker. And bringing your legs to tabletop again, and then bring the bottoms of your feet together, taking your knees wide, releasing through your hips and inner thighs. You can even think of flaring your rib cage here, which will give you this lovely opening of your chest. And then we're going to stretch through the hips, bring your knees together. One leg goes straight, the other comes towards your chest. And as you hug your knee to your chest, you reach that bottom leg away and feel that stretch in your bottom hip. We'll switch it around. And maybe you can even give your ankles a little stretch and release as well. Lovely. Bringing both feet to the mat. Slide the block out from under you. Release your hips. And you can stay here. When you're ready to come up, you can join me. Thank you so much for joining me for today's session using the block and the band. A little bit more play in today's class, adding a bit of this challenge of how we can use that block to be both supportive in our awareness, but also challenge us, especially in that glute work when we're lying on our back. If you've finished this class and you have any questions or you want to just share some feedback, you can share it down in the comments. I love seeing your feedback, chatting to you, and seeing where I can support you in your Pilates. And if this is all for you today, well done for making time for your movement and joining me here on the mat. I will see you in our next session.